Hi friends, I'm Tammy. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how to paint these bush roses. I took a photo of some roses on a bush that I found to be extremely attractive and thought it would be fun to play around with leaves and just the textures of it. So stay with me, let's go ahead and paint them together, and let's also talk a little bit about self-care. Okay, we're going to start by doing the centers of our flowers, and I will use this this creamy caramely color first. Creamy caramely color with my number 6 round. And we're going to put in 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do 4 blooms. I know it's unconventional to do even numbers. We'll see how I feel, but that's kind of what I'm wanting to do right now. So I'm just establishing some of that middle, stippling in the color. And let's do that a few more times. So stipple, stipple. I like to add in the centers these days first. This is making it kind of random too, you know? Just, I think that's pretty to, you know, the shape of it, instead of doing a whole circle or an oval. We just want to keep it a little bit more organic looking. And as I'm thinking and talking right now, I am going to do 5 blooms because I'm like, 4 is just going to bug me. 4 is going to be so uncomfortable and just not cool. So we're just going to do 5. That one's a little bigger. All good. Number 16 round brush. Lots of water. I'm going to be dabbing my brush because it's going to hold a lot of liquid. It's going to be too much happening. So bush roses, we're just going to, we need a little more liquid. Just making our little petals here. And I actually took a photo of some bush roses the other day, which caused me to want to paint roses, obviously. And they were bush roses and they were so pretty. And I was like, you know what? That might be kind of fun to do. So I feel like for this painting, and I'm always going small, let's make it bigger. I'm telling myself now. So it's not too late to do that. You can just make your petals bigger, just extend them out. And I feel like what's going to make this look like a rose situation is really going to be the leaves, you know? The leaves are going to do that. Those will inform us as to what kind of flower this is. Now, my middle is going to start spreading. It's okay. And let it spread, let it do its thing. And let your colors spread. Let your brush strokes just be, you know, organic and fun. You can always darken up your middle. So I'm just really gonna go in loosey-goosey at this point. Sometimes when I make these videos, I tend to go tighter, and I do tend to notice that you know, if I do make a sample, which I don't always do, but often I like to do that. And it helps me to know, you know, what I'm trying to establish here. Often I like my sample better and then my video, and I don't like that because I'm in my analytic brain when I'm talking to you guys, and things don't always turn out, you know, exactly in the way that I was thinking. So I'm trying to still be loose today and see if I can't create a replication of the photo I took. Now, we're just adding in really quick brush strokes, really loose. This one was a lot less loose than what I'm doing now, and that's okay. If you want to go slower too, you know, feel free. One last flower here. And I do love my flowers to be pretty close together. And we're gonna do foliage in between the flowers too. Oh, rounded petals would be nice. Okay, so that's what we've got going on right now. And I want to let these dry. And then we're going to take what I feel is like a number 14 round. It's hard to know with the German brushes. Actually, I'm going to take this one right here. I don't know if that's a number 10 maybe. Okay, and I'm going to grab my greens So we've got all kinds of dark green, kind of a medium, and a really light green there, just already on my palette. So use what's already on your palette. I want to add brown. You could add a little red just to change your green up, to make it more of that darker green color that you often see with roses. And that is really dark. Now we've got a brown, and now we have to add some green back. No worries. Just figure out what's the right combination for what you're looking for, and then just start making marks on your paper. Okay, dabbing the brush, and we're just going to start adding in just some stems, and then our paint. So just these little stems here, and then kind of establishing some wonky leaves. I like to squiggle my brush, just kind of to get some interesting organic shapes. And, you know, these are not, you know, going to be like true to life, maybe classic rose leaves. But just like move your brush around and let it kind of skid on the page, and then see what comes out of it. And allow that, you know, those organic shapes to kind of come through. And we can even just do some leaves right here. Just be careful around the edges so that you don't get any spreading that you might not want. And if it doesn't bother you, then great. No worries. Just paint it how you see it. Okay. We'll get another branch going right over here. Really thin, sketchy marks. And if you like the dry brush look, now this paper is pretty soft. It's a Legion Stonehenge. If you had a more rough paper like Arch or Academy, for example, you're gonna be able to, if I dab my brush and then I try to paint, you're gonna get, well, see, I'm still not really getting some dry brush. So this paper is not great for that, but if you have a rougher paper, you're gonna get some kind of skipping on the page. This one doesn't have as much roughness as I typically like, but that's okay. You use what you have, right? I'm always saying that, and that's so true. And so squiggle, 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 squiggle. Squiggle, squiggle. Squiggling is fun, guys. Try it. So much fun. I like it. It's super great. All right. Continuing to add, you know, some leaves right in here, in between everything, and some little squigglies over there as well. Just kind of establishing some more leaves in the middle that are just kind of covered up by the blooms. I really love the blooms I'm getting here. I think that's just really special. I didn't, you know, try to do that on purpose in any way, but, you know, sometimes you get some happy surprises. I was listening to, as I was driving, I was listening to a Christy Rice, might have been a live. It was one of her tutorials, or yeah, she was painting and talking, and I think it was a live that she recently did. And she was talking about that idea of happy accidents and how Bob Ross would say, oh, you know, if you make a mistake, it's a happy accident. And she says she would argue that it's not an accident, that it's, you know, it's supposed to happen, or not necessarily supposed to happen, but we wouldn't call it an accident because it's what adds the personality to your painting. I forget the term that she used, so now I'm talking about it and I don't know specifically what she said. If you know, let me know in comments if you've heard it too. But, you know, we're using a different narrative than accident, because accident implies something bad has happened, but hey, we're gonna, you know, use it for good. And so she's just kind of like, let's, you know, change the narrative on that, which I can appreciate. So there you go. But, you know, I feel like he was so ahead of his time just saying happy accidents, you know, giving people a new narrative, which I'd say was in the right track, the right direction. But yeah, it's true. Accident does not imply anything good. Anyway, but happy does. So what do you guys think? Let me know in comments. I don't know. So I'm just now trying to fill in all this space with some either leaves or resemblance of leaves. And over here, just a large one. filling in that space. This painting should be one that is a little bit quicker than some of my tutorials. Lately, my tutorials have been about 35 minutes, and I'm like, why are they so long? I don't know. The time is passing, and you know, sometimes it takes longer to do some of those more intense details and all those things. So anyway, but it surprises me every time because I'm not really paying attention to the time and how long things are taking. Anyway, we'll see. Working a little bit quicker today. And let's do another larger one here. See, I'm just squiggling my brush and letting those marks kind of show up how they do. I do love this color. This is really working. It's working for me. All right, let's make some more of this color. It's probably not gonna be the same, as in it's not gonna be the same at all. But that's okay. You can make a variation too. All right, so take a look at your painting right now. See where you need to add in additional marks. I'm gonna do another kind of intuitive leaf on this part. So some of the leaves will just be poking out behind the florals, and others will just be on these branches. So as I'm looking at this right now, I'm not really interested in probably putting too much more in over the top of what I have. And we'll see how I feel as we're filling in the flower details, but I do want to leave a little less white space. So just a little bit of mark making. Okay, of course, a little bit there. And, you know, just kind of observe for yourself and see what balance works for you. Okay, so I still have that same smaller brush, and we're gonna start adding in just some colors to make them, these bush roses have some pretty marks. So I'm just gonna do more. I think what I'm gonna do is more splotches versus some lines and things like drawing things in. This part always makes me feel nervous. Just pressing down, kind of moving around, trying to keep the integrity of those petal shapes that we have already there, and working fast so that I'm just not overthinking things. So that for me is really helpful. Some people don't feel like working fast is helpful to them. Don't work fast, work slower. It's all good. And I'm thinking I might want to round off some of these petals. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe some of them, maybe others no. Purple, we have different purples on here. Kind of mixing up stuff. Do you want to have a purple rose? Why not? You can do purple roses and red roses. Some pink, you can do some peach ones as well. Peach is a pretty color. It's kind of a peachy, well, pinky color. And just filling in some of that white space. A little bit more of this one here. And I just want to vary it up, you know. I don't want anything boring. Just kind of fun and really bright. Bright and fluffy and exciting. There we go. A little bit of that darker purple too. That's really pretty. It's really intense. Okay, I'm liking what's happening here. I'm liking that. I do enjoy the swipes of color. This is going to give me some backlash when it does the blooms, but the blooms can be pretty. Just want some really fun colors happening here. Skipping this one because why not? I don't know. No rhyme or reason for that one. That's just where we're at. And I'm just working quickly. Bush roses, you know? Bush roses. Actually, when I was growing up, we had bush roses. I don't know, I think they were probably already there when my parents purchased the house, but they were just so pretty. And nope, they weren't bush roses, they were vine roses. And yeah, anyway, they were still pretty though. that was it. That's it. That was my story. But I did love to pick them and put them in vases as I got older. And they were just so fun to have in the house. So beautiful. Roses in general, you know, they come by so many names and also the colors, and they're just a joy to have around. And you know, honestly, we're gonna do some stippling with black in the middle, because why not? Let's go ahead, and I'm trying not to stipple in a place where it's got wet petals because I don't want it to spread. I really don't want it to spread, you know, but if it does, it's not the end of the world. It's gonna be okay, you know? So just kind of keeping that in mind. But I always thought, you know, we had some roses growing up, but you know, when you buy roses in the store, they're just this tight bud. And I honestly always thought that that's how roses came. This tight bud, and they just didn't open. And I didn't realize that's not normal. They're supposed to open. And they're so much prettier when they're open, and you can see the center as well. So anyway, funny things that we grew up thinking and what we think is normal. Just like tomatoes in a grocery store. If you've never had garden fresh tomatoes, you're missing out. And I'm so sad for you. Because when people say they hate tomatoes, I'm like, have you tried a real tomato? A garden fresh, rich tomato with all that flavor. So good. All right, so this has gotten us to this point pretty quickly. All right, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Remember, guys, to like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my videos. And remember that I also teach Patreon wow. I also teach watercolor on Patreon. So you can sign up for $3 a month or more. And it's a great way to support me, as well as get access to bonus content, which is fun, exclusive tutorials and that kind of thing. The link is in the description. I'm thinking lines today. I don't know. We're doing lines. I have not been doing lines very often. Just holding the brush really loosely and establishing some lines, at least for these larger leaves. And please allow your lines to be wonky and to kind of curve around. They don't have to be stick straight. You can even miss some of the little veins and just make it nice and painterly and pretty and just fun. So I thought, you know, some veins would be nice. And if you just want to leave them the way they are, you definitely can do that. Or you can even just paint a little bit of more saturated paint over the top, just to give kind of some dimension and shadow too. Up to you. Up to you. So I hope that you are deep breathing and enjoying this experience, and this is a fun time for you. I am actually going to go and blob some paint over the top of some of these guys. And since they're a different kind of a leaf section, and yeah, you can leave them if you want. I do usually like to establish a bit more color and dimension, so I'll just do that. And basically doing kind of C-curve shapes. You can even just do one side just to vary it up. You can do lines if you want to. I mean, honestly, it's your painting. And yeah, I hope you are having a relaxed time. If you don't have relaxed time when you are painting, just really hone in into that. If you experience anxiety in your paintings, I guarantee you experience anxiety in your life. And, you know, just art should be relaxing, but honestly, so many of us struggle, and I do too, with, you know, how we see things, and if we enjoy our experience or if we're afraid that we're going to waste. A lot of times people are just afraid to mess up and create something ugly. Listen, I created something ugly this morning and I struggle. It's fine, and I could use the 35-minute footage, but my brain says, I could do so much better, let me try it again. And then my other part of my brain says, but you spent 35 minutes doing this, what a waste. So it's a struggle, people. It's always a struggle. All right, so look at your painting, see how you like it. If you're happy with it, keep it how it is. If you want to add more stuff, I'm just gonna leave it for now. Keep it simple and light. Thanks for being here, guys, and I'll see you soon on the next video.